Doug Bopst is an award-winning fitness coach, best-selling author, speaker, and successful podcaster with hundreds of thousands of followers, but his journey was far from easy. He actually spent time in prison, but what truly helped him get from behind bars to where he is today were tools he developed for rebuilding a stronger sense of self-worth and resilience and learning to create purpose and energy from the inside out.
As an entrepreneur, you're kind of always surviving, right? Like unless you sell a business.
How can we help people to reconnect with their whys in a way that actually changes how they feel, how they lead?
Coming back to your why doesn't necessarily generate revenue. You know what I mean? So I think it's like when people are in that survival mode, and when you're referring to that unique cash flow, it's what I'm hearing. Like being like remembering why you started or connecting to your purpose isn't gonna make the money fall from the trees, right? And I think that's the tough lesson, is that it's important to remember why you started and to have a connection to purpose, no doubt. And I fully believe that. I also know somebody who's ran a business for the last 10 years, and there's been, ups and downs, that it's just not as simple as, living in purpose and staying connected. I think where that's important is on the down days, it helps you kind of feel better about the mission and what you're doing. And it allows you to, play the long game more. Like that's what it comes down to, is playing the long game. Like, what is your purpose in life? If your purpose in life is just to make, money for the next 90 days doing this thing, then people probably won't make it. But if your purpose is to, over the course of your life, to impact as many people as you can doing this thing, then that changes how people can look at like what's in front of them financially, or what's in front of them as far as roadblocks. But those roadblocks are still there, which is what makes this topic very nuanced, because I think that one of the biggest lies, and Scott Galloway talks about this, that people have been told, is to just follow your passion. I love playing basketball. There's no way I'm playing professional basketball, right? I love golf. I'm not playing professional golf. And so there's a difference there, right? And I think you have to find, I think he says, you have to find where talent meets passion, or something like that. You have to develop the skill. You have to have the skills to get there. And I think for people who have the skills and have the passion, I just think it takes time. People might see me now with, a couple 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and think that I'm super successful. And I mean, I definitely feel like I'm decently successful at podcasting. However, if you look at my first videos, my hair was a mess. I looked like I just rolled out of bed, very soft spoken, completely different than I am now. And I had to work on those skills. I had to grind. And I think if you're somebody that can't embrace the suck, you probably shouldn't be a business owner, because there's a lot of ups and downs, and there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of times where things aren't going to go the way you want. But the goal is, if you're connected to what you do and you love what you do, that will help you ride those waves and feel better about it. And I just think it comes down to this deeper level of understanding of how businesses operate, cycles in business and stuff like that. And then also understanding that, sometimes you're going to be in survival mode, and that's okay. There's no way to fast track your way out of it, especially when money's not coming in, right? Does that make sense?
It does, but it's not. But it's adding to that. I think a lot of people just lose the spark. With doing the same thing, or again with facing a lot of adversity and the problems you have in the business. Sometimes you forget why you started it and the energy that you had initially, and the spark is lost, and you need to reconnect with it and you really want it, you crave to reconnect with it, because I do believe, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs do believe, that you do need that spark. It's not necessarily have to be your passion, your long life passion, but you do need that spark to create the energy to create a successful business that keeps growing, and also inspiring people, inspiring your teams, inspiring the clients. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, don't miss out on my free Burnout Free Business Guide. It's a simple 7-day plan to help you reset your relationship with your business, improve your mindset, and achieve more while staying balanced. You can download it right now by using the link in the description. So reconnecting with that spark is sometimes hard, when you're grinding day by day by day by day. and facing those troubles.
There's a great book called The Molecule of More, where it talks about dopamine. And I think that when people get that spark initially, you see this a lot in relationships. There's a spark, the honeymoon phase. That's all dopamine. There's this level of excitement. And then that wears off because you're naturally like in the relationship, right? And like things aren't supposed to be like off the wall exciting anymore. And you have to find like little ways to keep the spark going. You have to like, schedule date nights. You have to schedule time to connect. You have to do things that are fun together. You have to travel. You still have to do those things to kind of keep the spark going with that. And I think a lot of times people will say, oh, that spark that I felt at the beginning is gone. Let's break up. And it's like, well, no, well, now you're like settled into a real relationship. And it's the same thing with business, which is why I like was trying to hit him on that point of like the reality of the ups and downs of business and prioritizing yourself. I think the way to keep that spark going is to, stay connected to other people. It's to schedule a time to audit what you're doing on a regular basis. It's finding ways, to make sure that, what you're doing is connecting with whoever it is you're trying to serve. It's pivoting where you need to. Like, that's how you kind of keep the spark alive. I mean, I don't think, 'cause I think a lot of the business stuff is mundane. Like, it's very like, you're in the weeds a lot of the time and it's not sexy and it's boring. But the way that you harness that and get out of that is by, scheduling that time to like work on the business, not necessarily in the business. I started this podcast and what I do now just from a sense of purpose, if you will. Like I didn't, and it wasn't like, I didn't like find my purpose. I think that like when people say that, it can kind of be misleading because, it's not like I'm like, you journal on a piece of paper and it's like, boom, I found like what it is I'm supposed to do. It was more like I just felt, given my backstory and what I had accomplished as a trainer, that I felt like I had a gift and talking to people and having conversations and coaching people, that led to me, exploring the podcast world, and I think that I still feel like I'm figuring it out. Like there's still months where I'm like, I wish the show would do better. Or there's months where I'm like, I wish I had more revenue or whatever. And I think it always goes back to like, why I started, playing the long game with everything and then realizing that, my purpose is genuinely to like just continue to help people in whatever way I can. And it's not like some huge, astronomical thing that I think a lot of people think it needs to be. It's more like, I'm connected to what I do. I'm not married to it. Like if something were to happen and I had to change careers, and then, I mean, by all means, I'd have to do that. But, I think it just comes back to, am I excited to do what I do? And it's ensuring that I'm having the right types of conversations that are like kind of moving the needle.
Hey, you got to the end of this video. Congratulations. This is so great. We got so much more for you. You can click right here or right here and continue your growth. And I wish you to reach the tipping point of your success. See you in the next video.